Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you this fun little 90s inspired spotlight eye. So here I am starting off with no makeup, and here I have my color corrected and eyebrows done. Taking the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Foundation and just applying that all over my face. Please don't ask me why I make these weird faces when applying makeup. I have no idea where that came from. I'm blending everything into my chin area and underneath my jaw because it is a little bit light for me. Now I'm taking the Born This Way concealer and using that as my eye base, blending everything out, making sure all lines are gone, and then lightly brushing my MAC Skinfinish powder on top. Taking my Milani blush and using that as a transition shade. You guys know I love doing this. So I'm just going along the edge of my eyelid, just making that transition into the rest of my skin tone. So I'm using the Tati palette for this look. I'm taking the dark purple shade and placing that with a dense brush on the outer edge of my eye. So I'm really making sure that this is really blended, and I'm going in a V shape on the edge of my eye. So taking that same shade on the inner edge of my eye now to really create that spotlight look. So now I'm taking the Milani blush and just using that on the outer edges of my eyes, make sure everything's super blended. Now here I'm just packing on more of the dark purple to really deepen up the look. And here with the same purple color, I'm just taking the same dense brush to sweep on top of the lid. So you kind of notice that I go between packing more on and blending it out. And I really think that creates a nice spotlight eye and makes sure that everything's properly blended, but is still super intense. So now I'm taking this orange pink shimmer shade and just placing that on the inner part of the eye. So I'm just deepening up the edges. You'll see that I do this pretty often because I want to intensify the look, as I said earlier. And I'm making sure that I also put it in the top part of the eyelid and making sure it's swooped around there as well and properly blended. Here I'm putting more of that dark purple closer to the transition shade, so when I look up, you'll see the color more clearly. Then I'm just blending out the top of the eye to make sure there's no harsh lines. And then finally packing it one last time with a purple shade. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I always get so much eyeshadow on my contacts, so it makes me kind of roll my eyes a bit like this. Doing a little dance because both eyes are finished. And then I'm just blending out my under eye concealer and the concealer on my nose. Oh my god, guys, I had no idea how this got on me. I think it was my foundation. It was so hard to get off. I had to keep scrubbing it. And then I'm just taking my contour and bronzing stick by Smashbox, and I'm using the bronzing side. So the side that's a bit lighter that I show second. So I'm just using the bronzer to bronze up my face. You guys know I like to take it in a bit more because it gives me a nice shape to my face. Making sure I get up in my jaw and then doing my nose contour just very slightly so it doesn't look too harsh on me. And here I'm just making sure my under eye is properly blended before I set it. If you set it with the creases, it'll remain. So you gotta make sure you always blend out those creases before, and that's what I'm doing. And then I'm taking my NARS bronzer and just covering up those same spots that I used the cream bronzer on. This just gives me extra dimension and makes sure that everything sets properly and stays placed. Then I'm taking the same Milani blush that I use on my eyes as my transition and putting that on the apples of my cheek. Then I'm just taking this golden highlighter. This is a color I really like to use when I'm more tan, like right now. I realized I was contouring my face with blush, so that's why I made that face. It's not good to contour with anything that's too warm or blush. And then I'm going back in with that dark purple shade and finishing off the under eye. So I'm placing down the color, I'm really diffusing it, and then making sure I really get into that corner as well. Then taking the same Milani blush, I'm just diffusing it further. Then taking my Pixi Glow Mist, shaking it, making sure everything's combined, spritzing it on my face. This stuff is really amazing if you have dry skin like I do. Alright, so I'm just applying lower mascara and then going back with that orangey pink shimmer shade and putting that in the inner corners of my eyes to really tie everything together. And then I'm just blending that with my fingertips to make sure everything's seamless and there's no harsh lines. And then moving on to my lips. So this is a technique I love doing on my lips on the daily. So I just apply a little bit onto the center of my lips. I blend it out so it's more of a diffused look. And then I'll line the rest of my lips with a color that's very similar to my natural lip tone. After lining, I just make sure it's properly blended so there's no harsh lines. And that's the look. I hope you guys enjoyed this 90s spotlight eye from me, and subscribe for more.